How's it going on, buddy? Welcome back to Blade Bias.
And welcome to a very exciting Blade Bias.
Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of
Brandon Baker making a Blade Bias video. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Blade Bias. Now, obviously, I am not Ethan or Ty. I am Brandon Baker of the Hirsch YouTube channel. Thank you so much to Ethan and Ty for letting me hijack their channel in this very special video where I am going to talk about some of my favorite Balisongs in my massive collection that I have. For those that don't know me, we make videos at the Hirsch YouTube channel where we make really crazy reviews, unboxing videos, big collection videos, reaction videos, pretty much everything under the sun. We put a ton of effort into them. We have a ton of really, really cool followers there. Cool Patreon supporters. We got merch, we got Balisong cases, we have our own Balisong, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. We do a lot of really fun and really cool stuff there, and me, Ethan, Ty, and Will are all pretty close friends. And so they asked me, hey, you want to make a Blade Bias video? And I was like, I've never done anything unscripted or unedited in the Balisong world before, but sure. So welcome to a unedited and unscripted me, which will be a lot of fun, I'm sure. So this whole video is kind of in a way a plug for the even bigger video that I made for the Hirsch YouTube channel, where I talk about my big boy collection here. I talk about every single Balisong that I own, which is over 30. And go over what are my favorite Balisongs in different categories, pick my top 3, and then pick my top pick. So we're here to talk about my big boy collection here. So in that video, as I said, going over everything in here. These are not my best Balisongs. This isn't like an objective ranking or anything like that. These are just the Balisongs that mean the most to me, because there are a lot of really, really cool makers making really cool stuff that maybe isn't objectively the best thing, but goddamn does it look cool, and it makes maybe a neat sound here and there. And there's a lot in here that do a lot of interesting things. But if you want to hear me talk about all of them, you can watch the very large video that I made on the Hirsch YouTube channel. So I want to dive right into it. So we got multiple different categories here. This is essentially my top 5 favorite Balisongs. Pretty much everything in here I don't have any real intention of selling. There's a couple in here. There was even a most disappointing category in the big video that I made. Not going to be talking about that today, but I wanted to talk about, just one by one, what were my favorite Balisongs in the world. Not in every, I'm going to cut this part. You know, sometimes you do actually really stumble and you have to completely pause, and you do have to actually have an edit. So I lied to you and I am so sorry. What can I do to make it up to you? Leave it in the comments. Subscribe, Ethan, Ty, the Blade Bias channel. It's dope. Anyway, let's talk about my favorite Balisongs that I own. So number 1 is the category favorite budget Balisong. And it is the Nautilus Vulp, which of course you can take that with a grain of salt and maybe call me a shill, whatever you want to do, because I directly benefit from the sale of this because I actually helped design this bad boy. This is Will and I's Balisong that we made specifically for beginners. And for those that don't know, I am not that amazing of a Balisong flipper because I'm not actually that incredible at hand dexterity kind of stuff, though I am getting there. It just takes me a lot of time, and I don't really have a lot of time to learn new Balisong tricks, but I am getting there. Getting a lot more consistent with rollovers, behind the 8-ball, some various aerials and stuff like that. And when I first started flipping Balisongs, my first Balisong was a Squiddy. The Squiddy was good, but it wasn't amazing for getting into more technical tricks and stuff like that. And so Will and I designed the Vulp with beginners in mind. And I actually, one of the biggest pieces of feedback that I had, the initial design of this was it was just going to be a very thin line that was much more like all these little cutouts here. This was all going to be much more, there you go, camera. This is all going to be much thinner here. So it wasn't really, it was more just a aesthetic kind of choice. But I was like, what if we make those lines much thicker? Because I don't think it's going to have a lot of grip otherwise. And so that was the main piece of feedback that I gave for the Vulp. I have some zippy inserts here that they do change the flipping, but I mostly have them for aesthetics. And it changes the sound of the Balisong because this little line in the middle gives it a little bit of a ring, more of a ding, less of a ring. But with these in here, makes it just a little bit more clacky, and I like my clacks. But I genuinely enjoy the Vulp. I like the accessories I have on it. Black and red is my special color scheme. And then purple, you can see a lot of purple here. That's my second favorite color, but I love black and red. So this is my special black and red Vulp. And it got my favorite budget Balisong out of a list of 3 or 4 other different budget ones that were all good. One of them was the, where are you? Glider Bermuda. I like the Glider Bermuda. It also has a little insert there. So stuff like that was what the competition was, but this was personally my favorite. So next we have a Balisong that has gone through many, 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 many iterations, and that is my Squid Industries Nautilus V2, which is actually different than what it looked like in that big video that I made, because I changed the scales on it again, which is like the 5th or 6th time I've changed the scales on it. But it is one of my favorite Balisongs. And now what it actually has, if the camera will focus, is Glider Co. scales and Squid Industries scales. And I mismatched those because I actually get slightly better tolerances whenever I use the Squid Industries scales versus the Glider scales. And so this one is a lot of fun. The Nautilus V1, which I have right here, was my first real Balisong that I bought with my own money. I really enjoy how grippy these things are, and they're pretty light and fast. And so these have become my go-to to learn new tricks on. And then I just really like all the customizability that you can do with it. I've done 3D printed scales. I've had multiple different sets of glider scales, had white G10 from Squid Industries, black G10. And so this thing just continues to go through a bunch of iterations. And I really like it. It's not my favorite flipper out of my whole collection, but it's consistently been a mainstay. And it honestly, having G10 makes me more willing to take it out into public. Or I guess not so into public. This doesn't really look like a knife, which is beneficial. But just take it outside, flip it over concrete and stuff, because I don't have to necessarily worry about it directly damaging metal a lot of the time. I just have to worry about damaging the G10, which is replaceable. And I think Squid Industries even sells replacement scales now at long last. Took them forever to do that. And so I just love the Squid Industries Nautilus. And full disclosure there, we do have a affiliate code with Squid Industries. It used to be code Will Hirsch, which that's now changed. It's now like squid.willhirsch.gay, I think is the URL for that, if you want a discount from their stuff. But I promise I'm not plugging that because I want to try to make money off you. I'm just saying that in the name of disclosure. But I do genuinely really, really enjoy the Nautilus. So then next up, we have my favorite plastic Balisong. And this actually went to 2, which are the Tay Flipper, just that, the Tay Flipper, and the Calico, also by Tay Flipper. And now these are 2 different Balisongs for sure. The Tay Flipper was Tay's first product, and he did a custom red and black color scheme for me. And I really enjoy the Tay Flipper. I've liked it from day one. It's had some durability issues here and there and some tuning issues and stuff, so it's not perfect, but it's just light and it's fast. I generally like lighter Balisongs versus heavier stuff. Anything over like 4.5 ounces is generally, whenever you're approaching the territory that I don't really enjoy flipping. Anything over 4.5 is what I found, even with my kind of beginner mindset. But the Tay Flipper is awesome, and I actually like, this feels more consistent in terms of flipping than this does. The Calico is great, and it has one of my favorite sounds of any Balisong, like ever. And it has that same kind of light, fast nature to it and stuff, but it just carries momentum in a slightly different way that's not as enjoyable to me. And when I initially got it, I was like, holy crap, this is like the best dang plastic Balisong I done ever seen. Yee, blah, blah. Drink some barbed wire and drink some oil, boys. Some Coors Light. I'm from Texas, I'm so sorry. If you're from Texas, you know somebody that talks like that. Don't deny it. But the Calico is great. Tay is making some absolutely awesome stuff. Plastic balisongs in general are great. A runner-up in this category was the Zipper V2 by Zippy Balisong. This is a lot of fun as well, but this just feels more consistent, more solid in the hand. So I kind of gave it to both because they are different, but they're just really, really special to me. And the Tay Flipper in particular, I just constantly go back to. I've actually taken this on a number of like vacations with me and stuff, and had a really, really good time with that. And I especially, I lean even more toward balisongs that don't look like actual knives, because I do enjoy flipping in public, and, you know, even just like, you know, being in the store and flipping balisongs and stuff is a lot of fun. But whenever you have balisongs that are literally intentionally designed to look like an actual blade, this is a Zipper V1 here, and this is actually, I'll just hold it up to my face so it'll focus. This is obviously meant to look like an actual blade. And that just, I've gotten enough concerned looks from people that I just don't really want to deal. Got it. That is a Brandon Baker original. You can call that the Yahoo! Is the name of that trick. So, patent pending. But so I just like when blades don't look actually that threatening. I like the utility of a live blade, but the Tay Flipper and Calico definitely don't have that threatening kind of look. Yeah, especially if they had a white blade, or if I had a white blade, because obviously he makes white blades for these. But these are both freaking awesome, and Tay did an amazing job with it. So then next we have one of the most insane balisongs that I own, which also is one of one, which is my very special MachineWise Serif. The Serif is titanium, and black titanium isn't really a thing. Don't look at my face. I love face tracking autofocus, but for this scenario, not so much. There we go. Look how beautiful. Black titanium doesn't really exist, so this is Cerakoted, and then red steel doesn't really exist. So this is red Cerakote. This was a gift from Will Hirsch. Him and I are best friends, and we make videos together, obviously. And this, I already loved the Serif. The Serif, in our review of the Serif, we straight up just called it the best balisong, which of course is very subjective, but Will absolutely loves the Serif. I love the Serif. Every person I've ever talked to loves the Serif. It is live blade, which I am getting better at flipping. I'm much more aware whenever I'm flipping a live blade, because this is still razor sharp, because I don't have the heart to dull it, because Dalen, MachineWise, put so much freaking work into it. And then Will and Dalen actually did a bunch of custom stuff. Oh, focus, baby. It has the Imperial logo from Star Wars right there. And then it has B number 69 on the blade, which is just because I'm a 12-year-old that loves the number 69. What do you want from me? But the Serif, it has one of the best sounds of any balisong that I flipped. Even it's now slightly rivaled by the Squid Trainer V4, which was one of the trainers that was a runner-up in the big video I did. But has the different kind of ring and stuff. And the Serif just has this slightly subdued, deep clack that I just absolutely love. And so this was up against my crackerakin V1, which I left at Will's place, so I don't currently have that. I have my crackerakin V2.5, which was also close, but I like my crackerakin V1 more. If you want to know why, you can watch the full video. I feel like a fucking shill. Ooh! I feel like I'm just plugging my stuff shamelessly, and I guess I should. That video actually hasn't performed super well, but it's getting there. It's rebounding. But that's genuinely, I put so much work into that. And if you like this, if you like looking at my face, you'll like that video too. But the Serif is just top tier. MachineWise is mostly focusing on the Opus right now, which is kind of the rough successor to the Serif, but apparently the Serif's going to come back in a different form. But this thing is incredibly special to me. It has adjustable weights in here. I'm not going to take it apart right now, obviously. Mine actually doesn't have the weights in there because I found it carries momentum in a different way that makes it tougher for me to flip. And whenever I'm flipping a live blade balisong, having some consistency is very, very important to me. And I'm actually getting there. I'm now doing the whole, oh, I need to be careful. Okay, I did it the right way. Okay, I can do this twirl stuff now. That's been leveling up my flipping in different ways. And the Serif was one of the, I accidentally did it. And I knew I accidentally did it because I accidentally did it on the live blade side. So it legitimately cut me, but I was like, oh my God, because I did one of these and then I went into the whole twirl thing. But I did it the opposite way, which is that way, and it slammed into my finger. But I was like, wait, oh my God, I can do that. So that was really cool. And tease, this is the first time this will ever be shown, because this got my favorite live blade balisong. And this bad boy, I mentioned in the big video that I really, really, really want, and will, at the end of one of our shoot days, when we were wrapping up shooting for my Balisong Collection 2023, which will be Will's video that isn't out quite yet, but it will be soon, that I really, really wanted this, and he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, and he just whips this out and gives it to me. He's like, oh, yeah, that's yours. Have fun. Have a blast. Love you. It's not my color, but the G10 is dyeable because it's white, and I can get the blue handles reanodized, and this thing is pretty damn sick. I know Ty is going to be getting his very soon, and there might even be a video just around the corner, or it's already released. And it is exceptionally sick. Don't know if it's going to be my favorite live blade or replace the Serif, but this thing goes absolutely hard, and it's sandwich, and it's different. It's very expensive, and a lot of my Balisongs are gifts, and I don't take that for granted in any way, because I am surrounded by a lot of really, really cool people that have sent me stuff for free, and I've bought about 40% of my collection I spent my own money on, but I've been given a lot of stuff for free, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that. And this is one of those things, and probably will have a review at some point. But it's a bit of a moist brekkie, if you know what I mean. You don't know what I mean. But yeah, so that's really cool live blade. Really excited to see where that goes. It's from LDY, and it's absolutely awesome. Now, to wrap things up, to keep me from making another half-hour, 40-minute long video, whatever the big video was, this is my Zippy Lucha, which has a custom color scheme to it. I really wanted to do a Pride Balisong, and so Zippy made this special custom order for me. Him and I went back and forth for multiple hours, multiple days. I don't even remember what it was. But for a long time, I pitched him the idea. He gave me a bunch of different methods that could be achieved. And this thing is just absolutely awesome and represents how absolutely wild Balisongs can get. Because this is a 3D printed plastic Balisong with a live blade from a different maker. Obviously, this is a Kershaw blade from the original Kershaw Lucha, but he pulled it off, and I don't get it. It's not the most consistent flipper in the world. This blade is much less dull. This is more like it could open a box, but it's not going to open my chest cavity and slice into my whatever you called the heart valve ventricle. It's not going to slice into my left ventricle in my chest. Maybe one day if I resharpen it. Stay tuned for a future surgical video featuring the Zippy Lucha. But this thing is a ton of fun, and I love that Zippy went out of his way to make such a cool product for me. And it's just wild that it works the way that it does. It has weights in the handles themselves, like a lot of tungsten weights all next to each other and pretty consistently throughout it as well. And so a lot of plastic balisongs, and the calico is kind of like this. The weight is very much at the ends of the handle and then the ends of the blade. Obviously there's a bunch of weights up here. And so that makes the way it carries momentum is just something to get used to. But with this, because you have the consistent weight of the live blade and then even all the weight down here and then the weights that Zippy put in the handles themselves that are hidden, it makes for a weirdly consistent experience. And it's not, I don't think everybody's going to be in love with the sound of it. Like, it's like more of a thwack than like a clack or a ding. But it's just a ton of fun, and it's by far, or it's one of one. Zippy might make one of these for you if you ask, but it was a lot of work, I know, on his end. But this is just so unique to me, and it's so cool that he was willing to go out of his way to do such a custom thing for me. And it's just so wacky, like plastic balisongs, they existed because of stuff like the Squiddy. And they have existed that way since whenever the Squiddy was released, 2018, I believe. And these exist, obviously, but 3D printed ones, like Will and I made a Etsy unboxing video where we bought 3D printed balisongs from Etsy, and those were, some of them were fun. There was the Fidget Mech, which was like Lego meets balisong. That was fun, but all the other ones were just not, like, I don't want to dog on the makers or anything, but they were not anything close to anything that is in this big old case, which is wild that I can fit this case. These are is one of our custom cases that Will designed from my case builder, if you want to pick one of those up. They're genuinely cool. And I mostly use the cheaper, like $50 one that can hold like 15 balisongs, but now I can actually fill this. And this feels like a combination of like everything that exists in this box. It's on bearings. I don't have a lot of bearing balisongs, so it is different in that regard, but that's more what I'm after with this hobby. I'm not really after the whole, oh, this is objectively the best thing. And I am definitely not one of those people that's going to say, oh, this balisong is absolutely trash because it doesn't do this one trick properly. Or, oh, Glider made one bad product, so they're absolutely trash and terrible. Or the Kraken trainer balance is weird, so it's the worst balisong that's ever been made in the history of everything. And if you buy it, you might as well be supporting the entire evaporation of the ocean and the end of humanity as we know it. If you're one of those people that's going to dog people for owning certain balisongs, there's one that'll dog you for flipping, and that's the spider knife from Amazon. It's atrociously bad. That's the only one. Everything else, do what you like. Balisongs are really cool. Even the worst ones are really cool. It's a really cool thing. And I like just unique, different products, especially the ones that are pretty much entirely handmade. Somewhere in here, I don't even know. Oh, it's right here. I even made one. The butterfly knife. Butter, because it's actual butter knives from Walmart. I gained a lot of respect for how much work these things take whenever I made this. Entirely by hand with stitched steel. There's just so much work that goes into these. And of course, not every balisong is going to be for everybody. But stuff like this is a representation that, like, this stuff doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be really cool. And so this kind of represents that for me. So yeah, that is pretty much it. My balisong collection is huge, and it's probably going to get even bigger. There's a few that I want to sell in here. I'm going to be selling my, wherever it is, it's on the ground over there because it wasn't even worthy to put in here. Atropos Fortress 2 Spy, that one I'm probably going to sell. I have a Max Ace Banshee that I'm probably going to sell. This wild, absolutely insane one that I still have to make a YouTube short about. I have a actual, it has an insertable blade. Oh, it's falling apart. We're going to take that out. It can do this. Okay. There it goes. Yeah, see, it can just boop. That is going to be its own thing. But I'm very grateful to have as big of a collection as I do. And I have a lot of really, really cool stuff. And so I encourage you guys to keep looking out. Keep an eye out for some cool stuff. There's new stuff coming out all the time. a lot of cool makers making a lot of really cool stuff, even like from the big players like Squid Industries and Kershaw to the really small players that I would even throw like Tay into that mix. That's just making really cool stuff. So yeah, Balisongs are absolutely awesome. And so are Ethan and Ty for letting me make a video on this channel. Again, if you guys like it, give it a like, give it a comment. I'm genuinely curious, like, how did I do? Because obviously I need the approval of strangers on the internet to exist as a person, because that's the world that we live in. No, actually, this is a lot of fun. So thank you to Ethan and Ty for letting me do this video. And this may not be the last appearance from me. And if this was a regular Will Hirsch video, I would have like vanished and then a clone of me would have popped up there. So that was me holding so that some visual effect could happen, which wasn't intentional because this is all scripted. But thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to this channel, support Ethan and Ty. They're doing awesome stuff. And there's going to be more stuff coming from all of us in the future. So thank you again for watching. Peace.